many of those frustrations are valid. This is not the system our community deserves, so we are taking action. On Tuesday, May 13th, after deliberation and a unanimous vote, the Board of County Commissioners directed the county to begin the process of severing the joint powers agreement with CRRUA, the Camino Real Regional Utility Authority. Let me be clear, this decision was not one that we took lightly. It's rooted in care, it's rooted in the belief that our residents deserve transparency, reliability, and a better path forward. I want to emphasize this decision is the beginning of a legal and procedural transition. CRRUA will continue to manage water and wastewater services for Sunland Park and the southern portion of our county for the time being. We do not anticipate any immediate disruptions at all. What we are doing now is building the runway for long-term improvements. These are steps toward a system that is safer, clearer, and more responsive to the needs of our community. We are not just changing providers, we are changing how we show up for this community. We are working to regain your trust through consistency, communication, and compassion. Dona Ana County is ready. We have the capacity, the will, and the heart to lead this process responsibly. This is about clean water, sure, but it's also about equity. It's about ensuring that no community feels forgotten and no resident goes unheard. We ask for your patience, your questions, and your voice, because lasting change happens when we all work together. At this moment, I'm privileged to turn it over to District 1 Commissioner and Chair of the Board of County Commissioners, Christopher Shaljo Hernandez.
It's sliding. It is sliding.
I was holding it up.
Sorry, ABC 7, we're... There we go. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here today. Thank you to our County Manager, Mr. Andrews, for kicking it off. Today marks a very important step in achieving the goals that County Manager Andrews outlined. By taking this first step in terminating the joint powers agreement that formed CRRUA, we are acknowledging, not only as the Board of County Commissioners, but also as a community, that the current system is not working. Whether it's for our community members, for our residents, for our industrial partners, this is a long overdue change that will set us on a path that is going to be better at serving our customers, serving everyone, whether they're in Sunland Park or in the county. While CRRUA will still be managing the water and wastewater service during this transition, this step is necessary to create a system that serves the needs of our residents more effectively, providing clean and safe drinking water for everyone. As the county manager stated and mentioned, this process will take time, but we are fully committed to finding a solution that works for everyone. We are not simply ending a partnership. We are starting the work of creating a system that will last and work well for our residents. We know how frustrating it has been for many people in our community, and we're here to take the meaningful steps forward in improving our water and wastewater services that have been delivered by CRRUA and the county. It's important to note that CRRUA continues to be responsible for water and wastewater services throughout this transition period, and we're going to make sure that those services continue, that they remain, and that we hold them accountable for the services that we are providing. As part of our ongoing commitment to improving water and wastewater services, we'll be conducting a comprehensive engineering evaluation of the CRRUA assets. This will include an in-depth assessment of the infrastructure currently in place, such as pipes, treatment plants, and other critical components of the system. The goal of this evaluation is to ensure that we have a robust and resilient utility that is capable of meeting the current needs of our community, as well as future demands. We will also develop an updated asset management plan to guide the long-term maintenance, improvement, and replacement of those essential assets. This is a key step in ensuring that our water system can provide reliable, high-quality services for many, many years to come. The process ahead will require effort from us all, but we are focused on achieving results. I am here to introduce next our Commissioner from District 2, Commissioner Gloria Gametos, who will be sharing with us the specific outreach and feedback efforts that we will be starting. So, welcome, Commissioner.
Well, thank you, Chair Chris Chaldo Hernandez. I would like to focus on resident involvement in this transition. The county recognizes that this process is not just about changing service providers. It's about creating a better system that truly works for you, the residents. Your input is invaluable to us as we work through this important change. We want you to be included in every step of the way, and we are committed to making sure that you have multiple ways to stay informed and share your feedback. We understand that some of the immediate concerns, such as water quality issues or discoloration, have caused discomfort for residents. As we work through the long-term transition, we will also look for opportunities to address immediate needs that can help alleviate some of these concerns. We are exploring the potential for bottle filling stations in key areas. These stations can help provide residents with access to clean, safe drinking water, especially for those who may be impacted by temporary water quality issues while the transition is underway. We created several avenues for you to stay connected and engaged during this transition. We heard our residents' frustration with not being able to reach anyone by phone or get answers to questions. To help ensure that residents' concerns and complaints are addressed quickly and efficiently, the county is exploring the establishment of a call center dedicated to water service issues. This service would be available both in English and Spanish, allowing us to support all of our affected community members. We hope to announce more details next week. By establishing this call center at county expense, we aim to reduce the burden on CRRUA team and ensure quick response times to residents' concerns. The call center will act as a centralized resource for service-related issues, providing a transparent and accessible way for residents to report problems, track the resolution of issues, and receive timely updates. Within a week, on the Dona Ana County website, we are setting up an easy-to-use customer feedback form where you can share your thoughts, your concerns, and ideas. Your feedback will help guide the decisions we make. We will also regularly update our website with a list of frequently asked questions to address concerns that come up during the transition. We want to ensure that the information you need is easy to find. We will create and post frequent video updates on social media to keep you informed of the progress we're making. These videos will provide clear, concise information about the transition and help explain any new developments. We will also hold regular community meetings where you can hear directly from county officials about the status of the transition. These meetings will provide you with an opportunity to ask questions and share your thoughts in person. While this transition will take some time, we are committed to keeping you informed and engaged throughout the process. We understand that change can be challenging, and we are dedicated to offering you transparency every step of the way. Your voice is crucial to the success of this transition. Together, we can work towards a solution that better serves the community, and we are here to listen, to inform, and to support you along the way. Thank you again for joining us today, and we are happy to answer any questions you have. Stephen Lopez, our ACM, will answer any questions. Thank you.
Throw me under the fire truck, as it were. So we'll actually do team answering here, depending on what questions people might have. So, question, yes, Algernon.
We've talked a little bit about residential impacts. I'm wondering if you could speak about the impacts of the separation, or the implications, I should say, for all of the industrial customers that CRRUA serves.
You want me to take it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, so just to make sure everybody could hear the question, we've talked a lot about the residential impact. The question is, what about the commercial impact? There has absolutely been impact to the commercial customers. There are commercial customers who can't get as much water as they need to carry on their processes, and so they're having to actually go to private well owners to supplement. There are concerns about water quality at some of the industrial facilities as well. So those will absolutely be high up on our list, right there with the residential customers, of seeing what the needs are, what the system capacity is, and how we might be able to meet all of it. This is absolutely, our industrial customers are just as important as our residential.
What do
Yes.
you envision happening to the current treatment plants that CRRUA operates and the various, real estate assets and so forth? Do you think, the county will take ownership, or what happens to those assets?
Okay, I'm being pointed at again. So the question is, what is going to happen to the existing assets, like the treatment plants, the wells, the tanks? As was mentioned by our county manager and by the chair, we have hired already HDR Engineering to come in and do a thorough review of every part of the system. They're going to be looking at the pipes, they're going to be looking at the wells, they're going to be looking at the tanks, they're going to be looking at fire hydrants, and doing a full assessment so we all know what is out there. Our goal is to make sure that at the end of this process, all customers have their needs met. And what that looks like, we don't know yet, because we only had our first meeting with the City of Sunland Park and CRRUA this morning at 9 o'clock. So we've got a lot more work ahead of us, but that is, we had a great meeting. We're at least 90% in agreement right now of the direction forward, and that is a commitment we all made, is ensuring that we get the needs of our customers met. So, yes, sir.
That 90% sounds very promising, but it's very hard to believe. The City of Sunland Park has been always saying that they don't want to increase rates on everyone. I mean, I'm talking years of tradition. This is the second cost of service study that's being run. There was a letter sent to every single address in Puzik here. I'm aware of that because my company is the one that did it. Okay, on behalf of CRRUA. 9,000 letters went out, okay, saying that it's ongoing, etc., etc. The state said that rates need to be increased. Common sense says they said that they want to privatize, to bring a third party, etc. Sounds very illegal. Okay. No investor will send anything, any money, anything of value to rescue CRRUA without a rate increase. So at the end of the day, the rates will have to go up regardless of that 90% agreement. There's a 10% vacuum hole there that needs to be addressed. It's not politically correct. I don't want to make a long speech, but I'm completely aware of names and last names and what transpired. Okay. So people are asking for solutions that are not viable. Give me test strips, anti-donation clause. Okay, you cannot do it. Stuff like that. There's a lot of misinformation about the steps that need to be taken. So what is the plan? Who's coming to take over this thing? Who's going to tell people that the water plant that did not work is in the industrial park? It's not the water that the residents are drinking. I rest my case. What is the plan?
So I'm going to try to summarize that for the sake of the microphones to make sure everybody was able to capture the question. It started off by commenting on there have been rate studies done that show that CRRUA needs more money in order to be able to make infrastructure investments to get the system going, and really a desire for how can that happen if nobody wants rates increased. Is that a fair kind of summary? Okay. It's still too early for us to talk about rate increases, because one of the first things we need to know is what are the conditions of all the assets, what's the actual demand versus the demand that's being met, and where can we go? What are the options? As was pointed out in the question, people, if we're looking at a private-public partnership, are going to want to make sure that they can get the money necessary to cover their investments. That's a fair statement to make, and we realize that. Once we've got that good engineering study on where things are, what it's going to take, we'll be able to give a lot more direction going forward. I will say this, the Utilities Department of Dona Ana County reports to me. And one of the key things we have discovered is the model that is used in other parts of the country, where utilities cover costs through rates, is not always fair for some of our communities, because it ends up meaning that some residents are paying way more than maybe is fair. And so that's one of the things we're going to have to look at is it fair to get the system up and running well to only base it on rate paying, or do we need to make some other investments in order to get the system up and running fairly to where then rate recovery can happen? So let me get another question and then we can come back to you here. Yeah, I'll be right back to you. Yes, sir.
Okay, so why is this termination happening now? Like, what was the straw that broke the camel's back?
Do you want to cover that, Mr. Chair?
So, and I think we kind of discussed it a little bit. We have been hearing the outcries of the community members. We tried to fix it internally through the CRRUA board, which is made up by City of Sunland Park appointees and Dona Ana County appointees. We renegotiated that JPA and it was signed a year ago. And there was that 4-year termination clause. We were giving it time. We were in conversations. We were looking at different parts of CRRUA. County administrators, as well as county commissioners, as well as our voices on that CRRUA board were voicing those concerns. I don't want to say there was any straw that broke the camel's back or anything like that, but at the end, in this day and age and this time with our current county management, our current county administrators, with our board, we decided that this was the only path forward. We weren't seeing those improvements. We were not seeing anything getting better for our residents and for the people of Sunland Park and Dona Ana County. We made an executive decision to come out and go ahead and start that termination clause.
Question.
Yes, sir.
Earlier this month, we found out that CRRUA suffered that its water treatment facility failed the 8-bar arsenic test. Did that influence the executive decision we used?
So actually, the decision to terminate came out on Tuesday, and I believe that test was the day after, the next day. So it did not influence our decision, but it definitely strengthened our decision the day after.
I have a question. There was a report issued by the Environmental Protection Agency that did an inspection of CRRUA back in February. The report was issued on May 14th. It's on EPA's website if anyone wants to see it. It's pretty damning. I'm wondering if you all have seen that, because it spells out what the condition of the infrastructure is.
So the question is, there was a report released May 14th by the state and EPA about kind of the conditions. Have we seen it? Yes, we have. Do we know exactly what it means? Only partially, because we don't necessarily know root causes for some of the things that are in that report. And that's why we hired an expert engineering firm to help us in figuring that out. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did that influence the decision, that report influence the decision to sever ties with?
I think the answer is no, it did not. Yes, sir.
Thanks. Going back to how you pay for all this, okay, because I want cheaper water and cleaner water, but CRRUA is worth a lot more than the whole city of Sunland Park put together. The condition of the infrastructure is really poor, to be kind, polite. You need tons of money to be invested. And we heard when JP was signed a year ago, that in the absence of the JP agreement, nobody would refinance the bonds, etc. back to reality.
Yes. So they, again, just for the sake of everybody being able to hear the question, how are we really going to pay for it? If rates aren't enough, City of Sunland Park has announced, they're kind of tapped. I guess that's what was said before. So yes, as was mentioned earlier, the county is absolutely committed to investing. Sorry for the phone. The county is absolutely committed to investing for the health and safety of our residents. And how do we pay for it? As everybody in here is probably aware, it's pretty simple math. If we bring in more customers, especially at an industrial scale, that brings in the opportunity for better cost recovery. And that's why we are reaching out to the true experts in engineering to help us find that balance. Because what we've been trying to do for a couple decades with the current system is just meet the current needs. If we look forward at what the future needs are and build for that, we then have a mechanism for cost recovery. Yes, sir.
From a workforce perspective, do you envision bringing in a new executive director of whatever the water system would be, new plant operators, all the employees necessary? I mean, do they just transfer over from CRRUA? You hire of experts right at water treatment? How do you handle that?
So the question is, what happens to the staff at CRRUA? Is that accurate?
Yes, but also who operates the new...
And who operates. So again, it's just too early for us to say who's going to operate because there are so many different paths right now. As we continue having the discussions with Sunland Park and with CRRUA, we'll be able to share more of that here in the weeks and months ahead. But we do know we need more good, high-quality water operators. That may be we need to explore more partnerships with entities like Dona Ana Community College, who has a water and wastewater technician program. Look at how we can grow more local capacity that will stay in the area. Because right now, that's a great program, and all their graduates keep getting recruited to other states. So, we really have some good opportunities here to build state-of-the-art and to grow our own beyond just the goal of providing clean water.
At the beginning of the press
Yes.
conference, it was said that it's not just about water, it's about trust. And we've talked to residents here in Sunland Park who say, regardless of the change, the trust is broken, the damage is done. How do you plan to build that trust?
Scott, you want to come over?
Again, Scott Andrews, County Manager. I think Commissioner Gramados touched on a lot of that. We're going to be doing a lot more outreach coming to people. That was the main reason why we wanted to be here today instead of the government center. We want to show the community that we are all in on this. And Stephen Lopez did indicate we had a fantastic meeting earlier today with Sunland Park and with CRRUA. In fact, it was pretty much best case scenario. We can't answer some of the questions that all you have on the technical aspects of that because we're bringing in the third party. I don't know if we actually said the name. HDR Engineering is the firm we're bringing in. They're doing similar work right now in Tucson. So between the conversations with them, we need to get direction. We don't know what portion of CRRUA that Sunland Park may want. So that's the starting point of that. So once we have those indicators, we'll determine things like staff load, workload, who stays, who goes, and how we work together. Again, this is going to be done in unison, coming to the community and getting feedback from everyone. So we don't have every answer today, and I know that may frustrate some of you, but we just want to be transparent throughout this entire process.
And how long might transition of this phase be?
Sure, it's a good question. Again, we have, it's the 4-year cooling down period, so to speak. I'm a bit of an ambitious guy. I think we can tackle this within a year, and depending on how quickly these conversations go, maybe 6 months. So we'll know more after Tuesday's meeting, after both their board and our board get together, and then we'll meet at 3 p.m. on Tuesday to start getting into the technical aspects of this transition.
How often will the water be tested during this transition period, and will those results be accessible to the public?
Yeah, I don't know that one, so I'll bring Stephen back up, but thank you.
There are several different types of water tests ongoing. There is the quarterly test required by New Mexico Environment Department. Those will continue, obviously, on a quarterly basis. CRRUA has been doing their own supplemental tests to those, especially for arsenic, in between those quarterly tests so that they could more quickly resolve any issues. And then they have been doing the tests of 60 random households. One of the discussions we did have this morning is how can we supplement and grow that testing? And that's one of the things that we'll be talking about in more detail on Tuesday. So we do understand the need for more testing and getting those results quickly out to the community. So you'll hear a lot more about that as we work out those details. Yes, sir.
Earlier, Mr. Meadows mentioned, like, putting water bottle filling stations around. Who would operate those stations? Like, would it also be CRRUA? Would it be the same? Like, how would that be different water from the people just in the houses?
So for anybody who's ever gone to a water bottle station or driven by one in a parking lot outside of a convenience store or supermarket, they have their own filtration systems in them. They do often pull from the system, but they have their own. Some of them claim reverse osmosis. Some of them are just media filters. So it would be operated per state law by the owners of those companies that we might partner with. So this would be a public-private partnership for something like that. It's not a definite yet because we have no contracts, but Sunland Park liked the concept. They're going to take it back to their board. Our board is going to review that concept with our attorney to make sure that legally this is doable. We think that there is a potential path forward. We just have to make sure that everything is completely above board, consistent with state regulations and state requirements. Does that answer you? All right, thank you.
I mean, on that, if that goes forward, I know that this is still theoretical, but is that an expense that would be borne by CRRUA, or would Sunland Park and the county be sharing that expense based on locations?
So the question is, who would pay for the water bottle filling stations? We don't know exactly yet, but normally these companies have to pay for the water that they're using. And so that may be one of the opportunities we have is if CRRUA provides the water at no cost to them in order to provide it to the customers, the cost comes way down. So, and then how do we cover that remaining cost? Still subject to some discussion. Does that help?
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Last question for me. I'm wondering, like, are y'all aware, have you studied other communities that have essentially built new water utilities? And I get you can't really offer any specific information on the relevant details, probably most people are curious about, but can you just offer any commentary on, like, the scale of what you're trying to accomplish here for building a new utility from the ground up?
So the question is, have we looked at what other people do? Yes. That's why we have an engineering firm coming in, and we're not just trying to create this from scratch. There are experts out there that know exactly what needs to be looked at, and this may not be building from the ground up. There may be really good infrastructure that just needs some maintenance. There may be some really good infrastructure that just needs sensors and monitoring. So that's what they're going to be able to tell us, and then we will absolutely be looking at those growth opportunities as well. Any other questions? All right, if anybody wants one-on-ones, we'll be sticking around for a few minutes afterwards, but thank you all very much for showing up.
Stop.